Welcome to my channel Jasper Edwin Asi, where your knowledge can grow leaps and bounds. Today we are going to look at a book called as Our Parliament by the one and only Subhash Kashyap. Subhash Kashyap was a Secretary General of the Lok Sabha and he is considered as an authority. I have a personal story with Subhash Kashyap. In my early days in the corporate career, I worked as a production editor in a books company, and one of the author I got to work with was none other than Subhash Kashyap. And 10 years ago, he was already in his 80s, but still he was sharp as ever, and he used to write mails to us. And he had actually contributed about the parliament in an essay format to one of the books in which I was working as an editor. That was an unforgettable experience for me. Although, as a civil services aspirant, I never even dreamt of meeting Dr. Subhash Kashyap. But lo and behold, life has its way of putting people into your life, or you cross paths with certain people that will make a memory of a lifetime. And one such memory was meeting Dr. Subhash Kashyap virtually on a mail and getting to work with him in one book. First of all, we need to understand what does the term parliament comprise of. First is the office of the president, then the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. All three come together to be called as the parliament. In this book, Our Parliament, you go straight to chapter 8, which is raising matters in parliament. There are various ways to raise a matter in the Indian parliament. As you all know, the root word for parliament is the French word parler, which means to speak. And raising matters means to simply speak about it in the Indian parliament. Now, let's see about the adjournment motions. An adjournment motion has a time limit of 2 hours and 30 minutes. The main aspect of an adjournment motion, it should be a matter of public importance. For example, in 2025 session, Bihar SIR, Special Intensive Revision of the Electoral Rolls, this was one example where an adjournment motion was brought into the parliament for discussion. And at least 50 members need to submit their approval to the speaker, and only then an adjournment motion will be allowed by the speaker to be discussed in the parliament. And since the adjournment motion has an element of criticism involved, this adjournment motion is not allowed to be taken up in the Rajya Sabha. It can only be taken up in the Lok Sabha, which is the House of People, and not in the House of Elders. Where does the basis for this adjournment motion come from? Is it found in the Indian Constitution? No. Rather, it originates from the British Parliament and rules of conduct of business of the Lok Sabha. And it was first introduced in India in the Government of India Act 1919. Subsequently, when the Constituent Assembly under Dr. B.R. Ambedkar came together, they used this adjournment motion device as an extraordinary device to be included in the Indian Parliament, so that matters of public urgent importance will be taken up for discussion in the parliament. There are more restrictions for the adjournment motion. Like, for example, the discussed matter should not have been discussed in the same session of the parliament, and it should have a factual basis. It should be of a recent importance. It should not cover more than one matter. Like, you cannot club many burning issues and bring it under one adjournment motion. So this is something from the adjournment motion. There is a chapter on the sessions of the parliament, and when we are speaking about the sessions of the parliament, we might have heard about the monsoon session, the winter session, and the spring session. The spring session is also called as the budget session. For the Rajya Sabha, the budget session will be split into two, and there will be a gap of 3 to 4 weeks between the two sessions. However, for the Lok Sabha, this is not the case. The budget session is completed in one single sitting. Another important aspect that we find in our parliament book is called as the quorum. What is this quorum all about? There are more than 500 seats in the Indian parliament, right? And for any day when the session is about to be conducted, there should at least be 55 members, including the speaker, for the business of the day to be conducted. If there are lesser number of people, then the speaker will not proceed to conduct the business of the parliament for that day. We all have heard about the question hour, also called as the zero hour, in the news. As a civil services aspirant, you need to understand about the question hour, also known as the zero hour. There are certain types of questions that can be asked by any member of the parliament. First is the starred question, which means that asterisk symbol will be next to the question. For these kind of starred questions, an oral response would be provided in the House of the Parliament. When it comes to an unstarred question, with the question without an asterisk mark, the member of the Parliament to whom the question is addressed to will only need to answer in a written format. Then there is a short notice question. A question can be included within a 10-day notice period, and this is called as a short notice question. These are some of the important and interesting things found in the book by Dr. Subhash Kashyap, Our Parliament. This is a must read for every civil services aspirant. Spend one day with this book, and trust me, the return on investment for the time you spend will be huge, and you will thank me later. Guys, I am a civil services aspirant myself, and I love to help people who are in the civil services journey. Lakhs and lakhs of students take up this journey every year to fulfill their dreams and aspirations for a better India, a Viksit Bharat, as our Honorable Prime Minister has envisioned before 2047, which is the 100th year of Indian independence. Moreover, I want to help Christian aspirants because the number of Christians in the Indian civil services have drastically come down in the last few years. The number of students who have been appearing in the top 10 rankers of the civil services list has come down, and we hardly find any toppers in the top 10 ranking these days. And I want to have a revival of sorts of the civil services preparation. With my long years of experience as a civil services aspirant, I want to use my skills to coach and guide the next generation of aspiring bureaucrats, diplomats, and top cops with my knowledge so that they can clear this exam in one shot. My dear friends, if you want this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel and also hit the like button. Share this with your friends who might also be interested in this civil services guidance programs. Thank you.